Let's talk about AEW Dynamite, January 10th, Homecoming Edition. Featured the return of AEW to the Daily's Place arena. Is it an arena or is it just a Daily's Place? Well, regardless, they were back there, which was their home through the entirety of the pandemic. JT McRoberts here with you once again, the original Comic Book Ronin, proprietor, owner, and creator of the Comic Book Dojo. This is a review for old heads, new heads, and even some of you no-head neckbeards out there, so we can talk about our favorite wrestling company, which is All Elite Wrestling, if you know what I'm talking about. Show opens with a match between Hangman Adam Page and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Combat Club. I really enjoyed this match. It was a good, hard-hitting slobber knocker of a match, as good old JR would call it. I'm just a fan of this type of wrestling entertainment. I love to see two good, athletic, strong, technical, capable wrestlers just going at it, putting on a good match just for the sake of putting on a good match. It reminds me of the best days of old school NWA or even Mid-South, or if you want to go as far back as ECW, or more recently perhaps even Ring of Honor. Really dug this stuff. I'm a bit surprised that they haven't pushed Castagnoli a little bit closer towards the world title picture. I like that he had a Ring of Honor title run for a little bit there, but he's apparently moved on from that. But he's one of those guys I just see circling around the AEW World Heavyweight title, and hey, maybe he'll get a TNT title run sooner rather than later. Hangman Adam Page is a guy I always thought should have had the world title, and unfortunately when he did, he kind of showed his limitations on the creative side, unfortunately. His mic skills are not always the best, and his storylines were, during that championship run, floundering, to put it kindly. But anyway, he works best when he can just come out and knock people around. His slingshot lariat is a thing of beauty. I mean, it's really the best lariat clothesline since the days of JBL or Stan the Man Hansen, for you old school fans out there. Love to see it. And that double lariat that he put on Castagnoli to close out the match was a lot of fun. Up next, we had a really nice highlight package paying tribute to Mr. Brody Lee. That was a lot of fun. Well, not necessarily a lot of fun. It was just, kind of a moving, emotional moment. Makes you think back to Brody Lee and think about what might have been, because he never did get to have that world title challenge, although he had that really nice run with the TNT championship for a while, and he had that little feud with Cody for a while there. So that was all really good stuff. And of course that chain match, that dog collar match that he had with Cody Rhodes was good stuff. It was one of the best, and it will go down in history as such. It's always nice to see AEW just pay respects to wrestling history, and especially if it is its own wrestling history. Up next, we had the 8-man tag match to honor the Exalted One, Mr. Brody Lee. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I dislike more than 8-man tag matches are those 12-man battle royal schmazes that AEW puts on. They don't really give the wrestlers any time to shine. It's just kind of a series of moves, bing, bang, boom. You get your move, this person gets their move, that person gets their move, this person gets their move. Here's the person we want to focus and shine on. They get the pin. And in this case, that pin was performed by one Preston Vance, formerly he of 10 of the Dark Order. I've got to say, I liked Preston Vance a whole lot more when he was still 10 in the mask. Thought he could have run with that because you had the whole X thing, and he's got the connection to the Dark Order, and it's just cool to have a mask and whatnot, but his mic skills are apparently limited. But anyway, it was nice to see some of those guys in there, but these are not my favorite matches. They're a bit of a mess, and it was really a surprise to see Edge in there at all. Although he threw a hell of a spear there at the end when he nailed Brian Cage, I think it was, there at the end. So that was a heck of a move. Then they had a little interview with Renee Paquette talking to Bullet Club Gold, who, with the loss of Juice Robinson, unfortunately, they've lost that that crazy secondary hype man for now, which really saddens me. I was a bit disappointed that they didn't give Jay White more of a run at the World Championship, or even a chance to carry the championship with his little his short-lived feud with MJF, but that's the way it goes. AEW has a bit of an embarrassment of riches. They have so many guys that are literally world title worthy, but they can only put so many of them in that top contention spot. I'd like to see more of these guys at least contending for like a good secondary title, like the TNT title. I'm not sure what's going on with Jay White now. I guess he's just going to be in a bit of a holding pattern for a little while, but hopefully Juice Robinson comes back and those guys can go on some kind of heel tag team tear, because I'm a big fan of what they do both in and out of the ring. He's got the total package, most definitely. Then we get to see good old champion Samoa Joe come to the ring. I like the look of Joe in his suit. He looks good. He looks professional. Calls back the days of when you had world champions trying to bring respect to the title. Such as Ric Flair during his Four Horsemen run, or even, more recently in the last few decades, Triple H during the Evolution run, and that sort of thing. And they're really kind of presenting it as a professional doing, this is what I do. I am a professional. I get paid to professionally kick ass and take names. I liked his mic, his little promo. It was good stuff. AEW has the best promos because they don't use writers, as far as I know. It's mainly just the wrestlers speaking from the heart and putting things out there. And it was a nice little dig that he gave. Don't come out with your whiny comments on the mic or you're posting online. And that looked like a direct shot fired right over at Ricky Starks, who appears a few matches later. Because unfortunately, Ricky Starks, he tends to whine online, and he's done it on the mic a few times. And unfortunately, maybe he hasn't gotten his flowers in AEW like he should have. But I don't know. We'll talk about him a little bit more later. But it's nice to see, Samoa Joe coming out and setting the stage for what's going to be his championship run with the world title. I like how he said, hey, bring your resume and present it to the championship committee, and we'll think about it. And I love that it appears that Swerve Strickland is going to be his first real challenge. I hope that this is something that leads up to Revolution, because I have tickets to Revolution, mind you, so I plan to be there for Sting's final match. And I know AEW always puts on spectacular pay-per-views, so I'm looking forward to whatever they plan on doing then. I was not as thrilled to see now all of a sudden Hangman Adam Page comes out when we've got this great promo going on between Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland. And of course you've got Hook coming out. I'm not against the idea of Hook challenging Samoa Joe. I would rather see Hook get a bit more seasoning with a lesser title like the TNT title. I mean, he should have gone from the FTW title over to the TNT title. Kind of unified those, had a little bit of a TNT run, but the guy's got no mic skills, but he's very technical in the ring. He has that style that's very familiar to his father's. It's kind of a, Kodokan judo style, very solid, technically based, a lot of throws, a lot of suplexes. You see a lot of submission holds in his work, that kind of thing. So I do really like that. I mean, he needs a good manager to get up front, talk that smack for him, kind of like they do Paul Heyman with everybody who's no good on the mic, but they want to put over in the ring. AEW needs to take advantage of a little bit more of that stuff. Like, why do they not have just Taz walking around in front of them and talking junk to everybody and letting Hook loose on everybody? But I don't know. But hey, Tony Khan, if you want somebody to fix all your problems with your show, hit me up. But in the meantime, I'm a fan. I'm just here for the ride. Okay, next we've got an interview with Renee Paquette talking to Timeless Tony Storm. I've always been a Tony Storm fan. It's taken me a minute to get used to this whole Timeless gimmick, but I'm okay with it. I don't hate it. I'm not super impressed with what I've seen of Deonna Purrazzo so far. I'm not familiar with her work on the independent circuit, and that kick that she hit Mariah May with was horrible, to be honest with you. I mean, she almost fell down. That was probably because of the shoes that she was wearing. It looked like she started to lose her balance, but just looking at her, she does not look athletic or technical, and so far hearing her on the mic has been less than impressive. But this is about Tony Storm. I'd like to see AEW get back to focusing on with their women's division, focusing on a bit more of the better rivalries. We've got Thunder Rosa coming back. I don't understand where Britt Baker is. Why is she not added into the mix? You've got Saraya. I mean, they really need to take their best, most experienced female wrestlers and start using them to groom and season the other wrestlers. That's kind of the problem, is that they only have a handful that can put on decent matches, and then the rest of them are so green that their matches are painful to watch sometimes. And there will be a bit of that tonight. Then we've got AEW World Tag Champion Absolute Ricky Starks versus Sammy Guevara. Good match. I'm a big fan of Absolute Ricky Starks. Sammy is an amazing in-ring talent, but just as good as he is on the mic, he's, in the ring, he's pretty horrible on the mic. He doesn't come over well at all on the mic. He doesn't come across intimidating at all on the mic. And that's why he worked, to me, that's why he worked really well as a part of Jericho's group. Let Jericho do all the mic, all the talking, building the heat and whatnot. Then you just unleash Guevara, let him do the in-ring stuff and whatnot. Ricky Stark's a really athletic guy, has a great look, good set of moves, but not the most technical. Doesn't put on the greatest, matches so far in the ring. But he's got a great presence on the mic, good presence in the ring, good psychology. I like the way he works with the crowd. So on and so forth. I was surprised to see Sammy Guevara get put over there. I don't know what's going on with that. Is Ricky Starks on his way out? I'm not surprised that everyone that was in Cody Rhodes' orbit is slowly making their way back over to WWE. That doesn't surprise me at all. So if they start, taking some of the heat off of Ricky Starks in anticipation of him leaving, I'm not going to be surprised by that. But hey, if he goes to WWE, hopefully he'll get used properly as Ricky Starks, because he is absolute. Up next, 8-woman tag match in honor of the Exalted One, Mr. Brody Lee, Anna Jay, Chris Statlander, Thunder Rosa, Willow Nightingale versus the TBS champion, or the Hose champion as it's sometimes referred to online, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Ruby Soho, and Saraya. Okay, I don't know. The less said about this, the better. I really hate it when the women do their over cooperation during the matches. It's bad stuff. It's bad stuff. I mean, Chris Statlander is great in the ring. She can put on good matches. Thunder Rosa is probably the best outside of Serena Deeb. Is their best technical, athletic female wrestler. Willow Nightingale is fun. I really like Willow Nightingale. The first time I saw her was at the Crockett Cup a few years ago, right here in North Carolina. She was the opening match. I was like, who is this girl? And then by the end of the match, I was actually really surprised. I was like, hey, she's athletic. She puts on a good match. She plays to the crowd, all of these things. But anyway, when they all lined up to do like that quadruple suplex, I'm just like, oh God, this is painful. Make it stop. Make it stop. Up next, Ring of Honor Pure Champion Wheeler, Young Boy Yuta had words for Eddie Kingston. Not the greatest promo from Yuta, but you know what? They're getting him seasoned. They've done well to put him in the Blackpool Combat Club, and that's how you do it. You take the young guys and you bump them up against the experienced guys. You get them seasoned. You get them used to being in that spotlight and being able to do more than just put on a match, but also add some psychology to their work and put on some kind of performance with their promo and mic work. So I'm okay with this. Eddie Kingston, of course, will carry most of the weight when it comes to the promo work and the feud building. So I'm okay with that. Then we've got the Undisputed Kingdoms, Roderick Strong versus the Bounty Hunter, Brian Keith. I don't know what to say about this. The fact that the Kingdom was involved in the Devil storyline does not surprise me. The fact that it was Adam Cole, it makes sense. Okay, like he said, he turned on MJF before MJF did it to him. The fact that they added Wardlow to this mix is so disappointing. It reminds me completely of Adam Hangman Page's championship run, that when he finally got the spotlight, he just couldn't carry it. Wardlow was red hot coming off his initial feud with MJF. Then he just disappeared for like almost 2 years. I don't even know what to say about it. The guy's got the look. He's decent in the ring as long as he just sticks to hard hitting, strong arm, strong style type wrestling, slobber knocker, smash mouth stuff. He's great in the ring. On the mic, he just has to say, "Hey, I'm coming to kill you," and he'll get over. But seeing him demoted back to lackey role behind Adam Cole is like, oh man, this is so disappointing. You hit your ceiling and you dropped right back down like a rock. Renee Paquette talking to the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. Again, not impressed with what I've seen from her at all so far. Of course, she hasn't showed up in the ring yet, but expect her to be moved over to Ring of Honor very, very soon. Once, probably whatever she does at this upcoming pay-per-view, she'll disappear to ROH after that. Then we've got the main event. Tornado tag, Darby Allin and Sting versus the Don Callis family. I'm okay with this. Don Callis is definitely the closest thing the AEW has to a Paul Heyman, which is no surprise because Callis worked with Paul Heyman in ECW, many years ago. Callis is doing a great job putting over his guys. He does a great job at making himself completely despicable, to everyone watching. And it's always just a lot of fun watching Sting come out and put on a bit of a performance. They did have Ric Flair with them, and man, Rick got in the ring and he did a few chops and he looked awful. I mean, woo! He just looked arthritic from head to toe. He could barely move, and it took him forever to step through the ropes to get out of the ring. They had to cut away from it. He was taking so long. It looked like he had a mini stroke in the middle of getting out of the ring. So I don't know. I like seeing Flair, with Sting, because of the history. They go a long, long way back, but he needs to stay out of the ring. Just 1-2 moves here and there. Stick to the J.J. Dillon role, if you will, Flair, and leave the wrestling for the young fellows like Darby Allin, who is, a human cannonball or pinball. I love watching Darby. Big fan of his work. I could definitely see him winning the world title at one time. At some time, he has a presence in the ring. He has a presence on the mic. He seems genuine, and his matches are always exciting, and they never disappoint. And this was good stuff, seeing them go back and forth with Takeshita and Hobbs. And of course, the crowd's chanting, "Thank you, Sting, thank you, Sting." This is, one of his final appearances in the area. I'm looking forward to the upcoming pay-per-view. I'm going to be there. I want to see Sting's final match. I've followed the guy all the way from the days of Mid-South when he was teamed up as the Blade Runners with Sting and The Rock. Yes, like I said, old heads, we go back that far. And it was interesting that Young Bucks came out and kind of presented themselves as the opponents for Sting and Darby. That means they'll have a good match at least, but I don't know. There's no history to it. There's no psychology to it. I'm not sure what to make of the look of Matt and Nick, where you got one in all white and one in all black. I guess they're going to play good cop, bad cop now. Who knows? I don't know. We'll have to see how it unfolds, but the guys always put on a great match, and we'll see what happens with it. So there you go. I thought it was a pretty entertaining card from the bottom to the top. I enjoyed it, and if you enjoyed my short little review here of AEW Dynamite Homecoming, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out some of my comic book and superhero and fight breakdowns here on the channel, and come back for more. We'll see you next time.